Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. Who's ringing me at this time of the hour? Oh no, what am I going to do? Shall I pick up, shall I not? I don't recognize the call on the phone. Shall I accept or reject the phone call? Hi and welcome back to my channel of an everyday life of an Asperger. So today I'm going to share with you my experiences of obviously talking on the phone and whatnot, and hopefully in saying this maybe you guys can relate who's on the autistic community or not, because everybody is different as we know. So if you're into any of these autistic related videos, as well as also maybe mental health and some other bits and pieces I do in between this, feel free to subscribe to my channel and turn on the notification bell for future updates so that you can keep in the loop of what I get up to. This will be much appreciated. Let's begin this. As we know, sometimes it's a real dreaded horror for some of us when it comes down to, you know, answering calls or what have you, right? I know I was one of them at first, especially to this day. I still get a bit anxious when answering phone calls, especially if it's not on my, you know, particular cell phone I'm using right now. If it's an unknown number, I feel like, you know, what to do, you know, and all that. So even though many people keep on at me saying, you gotta answer the bloody darn phone, what if it was important, blah blah blah. Usually I hate talking on phones depending on the situation. The reasons that many autistics may fear is obviously the anxiety going up the roof of the unknown phone calls or what have you, maybe by anonymous callers. I've read it for my formal communication method would be text and email. I'm the kind of girl now that I'm starting to learn right now, regardless of my everyday situation, regardless where I am, I'm doing my very darn hardest hopefully to recognize the number by either, you know, googling it up or, you know, have a screenshot and have a caller ID display, especially if it's an anonymous number. It can't be traced, obviously people may think, but you'll be darn surprised with technology these days, believe you me guys. And that in saying this, that I believe that email and texting is my preference, and maybe many autistics as well. With that, we have the choice to use pictures to express our feelings and emotions as well. So in saying this though, when I first began trying to learn how to answer phones, especially when it came down to, you know, my everyday clinical practical assessments that I had to do, be where I am in New Zealand, or even just when I used to work at the vet clinic a long time ago as part of my practical experience and whatnot, trying to manage the phones for 2-3 days, you know, as a trial. Obviously I made a few delivers here and there. When talking on the phone, it's just like how I look at it, you're lost in translation or from another planet, and you feel alienated and you feel like you're left alone in the dark and lost in transition. I guess this is the right wording for it. I don't know. This is just how I feel based on when I'm talking on the phone, first and foremost, but I'm starting to get better, as I said. For me, especially on talking on phone, I feel that sometimes I feel like I'm being rushed, in saying this, that I feel in my own being that there's nothing there, you know, as well as there's no physical clues in connection to interpret what's has been said or done, or what they say is actually conveying or saying to us in that form of message. Reason on talking on the phone for me is difficult, as well as many other autistics. Sure as hell may agree with me, there's no physical kind of connection there, I believe, because you're obviously not being able to read the verbal cues versus the, you know, body language that comes with the verbal cues if you were with the person. In real life, however, most of us will be able to see a person to what they're sometimes saying. Non-verbal and verbal body language is key here. As they say, how we communicate is usually up to about 89% or so of our language is non-verbal anyways. Obviously, I believe when it comes down to trying to know when it's our turn, you know, physically for me, so I have to wait my turn and know when the verbal cue is ready for that person that had that micropause. Is it my turn? Is it not? Is it their turn still? Are they thinking and all that? Because obviously, as we know, sometimes we get mistranslated between. I sometimes do interrupt a lot or talk too much, maybe, or talk about anything till you get bored of it, and either on the phone or even basically via person, you know, talking to me face to face. But as I said, I can now engage with a bit of a subtle clue or hint when I'm talking to someone that, you know, with the body language, if they're yawning or they're looking away and not making eye contact, hearsay and everything else that shows that they're disinterested of the conversation. So I have to keep it short and sweet, as they say, keep it simple, stupid as well, maybe, even if people may think I'm too technical, hearsay. As you guys may have known me for some of years, yes, I talk a lot constantly about my beloved subjects, and now I'm starting to realize that, you know, after learning all this time, more verbal cues and whatnot, to know when I am talking with someone that they're either getting bored in that and try to read their body language and cues. Yes, sometimes it can be deceiving with some people's body language and cues, I believe also. However, when I am engaging one-on-one with people, you know, outside the, you know, telephone screen and whatnot. So, you know, I like to, you know, talk to people, but then again, you know, it's just, sometimes I still find it hard, especially if I'm new to someone and I get socially awkward and a bit, people think I get a bit too complicated to talk to or too hard to understand, which that's fair enough, because obviously you guys are new to me and I'm new to you, and it's about understanding and obviously meeting in the middle somewhere, I believe, also in the form of context here. Sometimes many people may, you know, lose interest beyond the point of it, however, for that point of interest. Learning to know when to stop this, however, is starting to be good when engaging with people on a conversation. Sometimes with pauses of conversations, basically, also, I feel that face-to-face is easier. All the unmanageable questions, however, does come to effect. We ask ourselves while the phone calls are creeping in inside our minds, however, of the questions when we're talking, and then we're waiting for the other person to talk, or what, vice versa. You know, when they're paused, is it my turn to speak? You know, how long shall I speak on this topic? You know, are they thinking, do I know what to say and whatnot? Or what to say sometimes can really bring up the anxiety for us. Sometimes phone conversation is knowing how long to talk about the particular topic, however, and keep it within that topic. When to talk and what to say, and, you know, and also watching out for our tone. Sometimes some of us will feel discomfort, however, potentially, you know, with me knowing what it's all about. Again, trying to keep the conversation short and to take no offense, especially for me when I'm talking to you guys on the phone. Sometimes I try my hardest regardless, even though, you know, my anxiety still flares up sometimes, especially when there's anonymous callers. I try my hardest to find ways to overcome that. I'm usually not great with the tone of voice, however, on the phone, but I'm starting to pick out certain tones in that conversation if I was on the phone, however. Despite it all though, however, there's no clues to how or what they're feeling despite these tones. And saying I can respond inappropriately, which I don't mean to, if I get the mixed messages from that, you know, sender that's, you know, talking to me on the phone and whatnot. And in saying this, that I feel that everybody is different here, say. And in saying this though, when I respond abruptly, don't take it to heart, because obviously, you know, I'm doing my very darn hardest to pay attention to the conversation at hand with you guys. There's no rhythm or flow in the conversation, however, when talking on the phone. In saying this though, with me, I am now learning, like, especially when I'm on a phone call or about to receive a phone call that is important or what have you, sometimes I'll write down some key notes what I should say, you know, via the conversation. You know, sometimes it's like, as I said before, it's like a script running through my mind, you say, when you have to shape shift and move into a different environment and actually be something other than maybe yourself, to get out of the skin, to just make yourself feel comfortable again. I don't know if any of you have related in this, but that's just me. So, what do I prefer in means of communication? I'm a kind of girl that, as I said, like face-to-face communication, but hopefully in saying this, regardless of it all, I'm getting better with the engaging with the people out in the, you know, face to face and whatnot. But now and again, I still to this day prefer to be, you know, out of reach by texting. That will give me time to think as my thoughts and what to say, as well as emailing. In saying this though, it can be a relief for some of us autistic that likes to text or email because of the emojis that entails, because obviously emojis tend to tell the story of how we're feeling and whatnot, I believe. In saying this though, I am getting better, I believe, but you guys can be the judge, you know, especially the ones that may know me. Comment below. Even though many people, like I said, tend to misunderstand me and everything else, but I'm sure as hell once we get to know each other a bit more, communicate more, maybe we can get to grips of our differences. It's all about accepting our differences regardless who and what we are, autistic or not, I believe. And it's also just being able to be ourselves, hopefully, instead of having to pretend to be someone else, also, I believe, in my being as well. So this is a quick short video about autistic and telephones. If I missed anything, let me know in the comment section below. And not any autistics do usually watch my videos. Feel free to open the discussion board how you can overcome talking on phones if you are confident enough now talking on phones. What's your experiences in talking about on phones, you know, and whatnot, and if there's any ways that you go about answering telephones and whatnot, so that we can get the discussion board up and running down below. So enough further ado, guys. Basically, thanks for the support, thanks for watching. Don't forget to follow me on my social medias. If you want to reach out to me via PM or what have you, feel free to private message me on my AspieAnswers on Facebook if you want to rant, rave, or just want to pop in and just say hello, Aspie, just to check up on me. You know, if I'm not, you know, floating about in some groups, don't feel very free. I'm still floating around in some of the groups, but I've had so many, you know, groups that I'm in and that I'm trying to engage with different ones and whatnot, and showing my support and what have you. So over it goes, guys. Until next time, do what you love what you do. I'll see you again soon.